Manish, you know very well, you know at least you're privy to the kind of line of questioning that was posed to Manish Sisodia while he was part of that 7-day custody. The custody of the CBI has ended. 14-day judicial custody, that's the max that's allowed, and that's the max that's been granted. And it appears he will be lodged in Tihar Jail until the 20th of March. Give us a sense on what exactly has made this case so fit for the court to quickly announce this verdict.
Yeah, well, Nabila, as far as this judicial custody is concerned, it's a process. Whenever the police custody is not asked by the agency, the court sends that person to 14 days of judicial custody. That is very procedural. But what is important here is to point out that the mention by the Central Bureau of Investigation inside the court that they are not asking for custody of Manish Sisodia because if needed in future they would like to re-arrest Manish Sisodia in the case. So as far as CBI's strategy is concerned, it is very clear. Out of 14 days of police custody, they have exhausted 7 days, and the remaining 7 days they want to use it in future, which means that even if Manish Sisodia gets bail, there will always be a possibility that CBI can go for cancellation of that bail and they can re-arrest Mr. Manish Sisodia. Now, as far as this judicial custody is concerned, remember now he will be in Tihar Jail, which means that his Holi is going to be in Tihar Jail. The other Aam Aadmi Party former minister Satyendra Jain is already in Tihar Jail. Apart from that, ED is waiting for this, ED was waiting for this custody to get over, because we have been given to understand is that within 2-3 days, that is before 10th of March, the ED will be filing an application before the court asking for custody of Manish Sisodia, which means that after CBI custody, few days of jail, and then again Manish Sisodia will be in the custody of Enforcement Directorate. And now to get bail, because 10th of March is the date when the court will be hearing the bail application of Manish Sisodia. So even if the matter comes for comes for the bail, it comes before the court, then even if he gets bail in the CBI case, he won't get out of the jail or even out of the custody, because ED would have arrested him at that point of time. So it is going to be a long legal battle for Mr. Manish Sisodia to get out of the jail premises in this case. As far as the legal strategy of Manish Sisodia is concerned, the lawyers will be fighting the case for Mr. Manish Sisodia. But earlier what we have seen in the case of P. Chidambaram, even after too many legal battle, P. Chidambaram stayed for almost 109 days, and here the strategy of CBI and ED is going to be to make sure that Manish Sisodia stays in jail for maximum number of days, at least for few months. Nabila.
All right. You know, Manish, stay with us. I'm going to quickly cut across to Nalini as well, who's tracking a court for us. Nalini, give us an understanding to 2 days, or at least a few days from now, Friday basically, is when Manish Sisodia's bail plea will be heard. And is it likely, now that the Rouse Avenue Court has sent him to 14-day judicial custody, is it likely to have any kind of bearing on the court's decision to grant him bail? What's the likelihood?
Well, Nabila, like Manish just stated, considering the fact that ED might now be swooping in to take custody of the former Deputy Delhi Chief Minister, and keeping that in mind, that there are already proceedings under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act that are active against Manish Sisodia regarding the excise policy scam, it might be possible that even before his bail plea is taken up by the court, the Enforcement Directorate will come in and take Manish Sisodia into custody. Now, that is going to mean that it's going to be an uphill battle for Manish Sisodia to eventually try and get any sort of relief, because the minute that the ED steps in and the minute that Prevention of Money Laundering Act's provisions are brought into place, it's going to be very difficult for Manish Sisodia to try and get bail, because the conditions for bail under the PMLA Act are extremely strict. Manish Sisodia, just to get bail, will have to prove his innocence, because the burden of proof under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act will be on Manish Sisodia to prove his innocence to even be out on bail, which is why we're seeing many of the political leaders, especially from the opposition, that have been arrested under the PMLA Act are still behind the bars because they've not been able to get any relief from the court of law. And keeping in mind the recent judgment from the Supreme Court that had come in regarding the powers of the ED under the PMLA. It has empowered the ED to conduct these investigations and to go ahead and take people like Manish Sisodia or people who are under investigation in their custody. So it's going to be an uphill battle. There doesn't seem to be any relief on the horizon for Manish Sisodia, at least for now, because even if CBI, in the CBI case, he is granted bail, it will be a difficult battle for him to get bail in the PMLA case. Having said that, this is the process that he has to go through. Eventually, we'll have to see how early the ED is going to move the court, asking for his custody and exactly what the court allows as to whether or not they even allow for the custody to be taken by the ED or not.
All right, huge setback there for the Aam Aadmi Party. For sure, Manish Sisodia may have imagined that his bail plea would be heard sooner, but even the Supreme Court, he reached the top court for it. Supreme Court refused to intervene. And in the meanwhile, while the hearing was scheduled for Friday for his bail, it appears now the Rouse Avenue Court has already granted him 14-day judicial custody. He will be lodged in Tihar Jail for the next 14 days, which means until the 20th of March. Aam Aadmi Party workers, of course, there may be agitated. Let me cut across to Pankaj Jain. Pankaj, what is the commotion right there? You're at the Aam Aadmi Party's office.
नबीला, देखिए यहाँ पे सुरक्षा के वही इंतजाम है जो हमेशा मनीष सिसोदिया की कोर्ट में पेशी के दौरान होते हैं। हम आपको ये विजुअल्स दिखाते हैं। यहाँ पे जो पैरा मिलिट्री फोर्स है उसको डिप्लॉय किया गया है और जिस तरीके से पूरे इलाके को बैरिकेड्स लगाकर रोक लिया गया है, कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा लग रहा है कि जब तक मनीष सिसोदिया कोर्ट से निकलकर सीबीआई दफ्तर नहीं पहुंच जाते, ये हालात इसी तरह के रहने वाले हैं। पुलिस के तमाम जो सीनियर अधिकारी हैं वो यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं और साथ ही साथ ये जो तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हैं पिछले करीब आधे एक घंटे से इसी तरह से यहाँ पे हालात है। डीडीयू मार्ग नबीला इसे कहा जाता है और आपको हम सामने तस्वीरें दिखाते हैं कि आम आदमी पार्टी दफ्तर जो है सामने आपको नजर आ जाएगा। यहाँ पे हालांकि आज कोई आम आदमी पार्टी वर्कर या फिर सपोर्टर्स की भीड़ नहीं आई है। यहाँ पे आम आदमी पार्टी के जो नेता है वो भी मौजूद नहीं है। आज शांति है, लेकिन इसके बावजूद एहतियात के लिए चारों तरफ आप देखें तो आपको यहाँ नजर आएगा जो रास्ते हैं उन्हें बैरिकेड लगा के बंद कर दिया गया है। यहाँ पे बैरिकेड लगा हुआ है। फिर आपकी नजर यहाँ जाएगी, यहाँ पे वाटर कैनन की गाड़ियां हैं और आपको सामने यहाँ नजर आ जाएगा जो राउज एवेन्यू कोर्ट है वो इस पेड़ के ठीक पीछे जो बिल्डिंग आपको नजर आ रही है वो राउज एवेन्यू कोर्ट है। तो जाहिर है कि एहतियातन यहाँ पे तमाम इंतजाम किए गए हैं और कोशिश यही है दिल्ली पुलिस की फोर्स की कि किसी भी तरह के अगर प्रदर्शनकारी तुरंत आ जाते हैं तो उनको रोका जाए। सामने ये जो आप रास्ता देख रहे हैं दिल्ली पुलिस की, यहाँ पे गाड़ी आप देख रहे हैं, बैरिकेड्स यहाँ पे लगे हुए हैं। इसके जरिए राउज एवेन्यू कोर्ट की तरफ ये जो रास्ता जा रहा है इसे पूरी तरह से ब्लॉक कर दिया गया है। तो जाहिर है कि आम आदमी पार्टी ने जिस तरह से पिछली दो पेशियों के दौरान लगातार प्रोटेस्ट किया था, बैरिकेड्स के ऊपर आम आदमी पार्टी के नेता चढ़ गए थे और वो विरोध प्रदर्शन कर रहे थे, उस तरह के हालात ना बने इसलिए सुरक्षा के इंतजाम यहाँ पे किए गए हैं। क्योंकि कोर्ट में जो प्रोसीडिंग्स चल रही थी वो अब खत्म हो चुकी हैं और भीतर अभी भी मनीष सिसोदिया मौजूद हैं और जैसे ही वो वहां से बाहर निकलेंगे हो सकता है कि उसके बाद यहाँ पे रास्ता खोल दिया जाए और ये फोर्स हटा दी जाए। लेकिन सभी इंतजाम यहाँ पर पुख्ता किए गए हैं जैसे कि हमने पहले दिन देखा था। और साथ ही साथ ये आप देखिए तस्वीरों के जरिए आम आदमी पार्टी दफ्तर जो है उसके बाहर सन्नाटा है और यहाँ पिन ड्रॉप साइलेंट एक तरह से कह सकते हैं।
आम आदमी पार्टी ने कोई प्रोटेस्ट शेड्यूल किया है? पंकज, इफ यू कैन टेल मी, हैज देयर बीन एनी शेड्यूल और अ डिसीजन टू शेड्यूल अ प्रोटेस्ट पोस्ट द वर्डिक्ट टुडे? कोई ऐसा कुछ शेड्यूल हुआ है कि वो सड़कों पे उतरेंगे अब?
नबीला, देखिए अभी कोई प्रोटेस्ट नहीं है। अभी किसी भी तरह का कोई प्रोटेस्ट आम आदमी पार्टी ने नहीं बुलाया है, क्योंकि अगर प्रोटेस्ट बुलाया होता तो यहाँ पे समर्थक पहुंच चुके होते। अभी भी आम आदमी पार्टी की जो लीगल टीम है उन्हें पता था कि कोर्ट के अंदर क्या होना है, वो अपनी तरफ से पक्ष रखते, सीबीआई अपने तरफ से पक्ष रखती और इस हालात की उम्मीद उन्हें थी। क्योंकि पिछला जिस तरह से सत्येंद्र जैन का अनुभव रहा है, कहीं ना कहीं अब आम आदमी पार्टी ये समझ चुकी है कि किस तरीके से कोर्ट के जरिए ही राहत का रास्ता निकल सकता है। लेकिन आम आदमी पार्टी ने ये जरूर कहा था कि आने वाले दिनों में वो आंदोलन करेगी, प्रदर्शन करेगी। लेकिन आज की ये जो विजुअल्स हैं, ये जो पिक्चर्स आप देख रहे हैं,
अभी के लिए सिक्योरिटी डिप्लॉय हुआ है। ऑफ कोर्स दे आर एंटिसिपेटिंग सम काइंड ऑफ कमोशन एंड द दिल्ली पुलिस राइट नाउ नॉट लीविंग anything to chance to ensure that there is law and order maintained even if a protest breaks out.